Okay, so before opening the GarageBand app, it's important to consider audio playback when working in an environment with multiple iPads. On the top of your iPad, you'll find that there's a headphone socket, and you can even invest in some headphone splitters like we have here, so multiple participants can collaborate on the same project. Volume controls can also be found on the side of the iPad. Okay, so now that we've got our headphones sorted, let's open the GarageBand app. And from here we can create a new project by hitting the plus symbol. And in the next window you'll see you've got two options at the top, live loops and tracks. For the first part of this tutorial we're going to stick with live loops, and you're just going to scroll through and find the genre that you want to work with. Okay, so I've chosen rock, and when the project opens you can see we've got our instruments down the left hand side and all of our loops are situated within the grid in the middle. Now if I press on one of these loops it will start playing. And what I can do now is I can layer another instrument on top of that by pressing another loop inside another row. Okay, so let's add another instrument, let's add some drums. To stop all the instruments from playing, all we need to do is hit the stop button in the control panel at the top. When you've pressed the stop button, it will change to the go to the beginning button. This will clear all loop selections and we can start again. We also have numbered triggers at the bottom of each column if we want to play all the instruments within that column at the same time. Okay, so now that we've got a bit of a song going, what we can do is we can choose a different loop to start to give our song a bit of structure. It's best to switch to a new loop when the previous loop has nearly completed its cycle, although GarageBand will always do its best to keep you in time. Okay, so I'm just going to hit stop on that, and we'll hit the go to beginning button to clear our selection, and I think we're just about ready to start to record our song. So I'm going to hit the record button in the control bar. The playhead will start to move across the top in our timeline, and any loops that we now press, GarageBand is going to record. This is indicated by the red lines that we can see at the top of the screen. And any changes that we want to make by starting new loops, GarageBand is also going to record them. Remember, your song's going to sound best if we can try and start the loops when the previous loop is about to finish. When we're done recording, all we need to do is hit the stop button in the control bar. To listen to a playback of our song, all we need to do is hit the play button. There are lots more features to GarageBand, such as the remix effects panel. There are lots of different options in here. We won't go through them all today, but we encourage you to play around with them. Another nice feature is the ability to record your own sounds into a cell and turn it into your own customized loops. In here you can record voices, instruments, whatever you like. We're not going to cover this in this tutorial, but feel free to try it out for yourself. So that is our GarageBand Live Loops tutorial. It's a fantastic resource to get people with little or no musical experience creating their own tracks straight away. Okay, so now let's move on to the second part of our tutorial, which is using GarageBand Tracks. GarageBand Tracks is a slightly more in-depth view to making music, which gives your participants a lot more creative control. So let's get started. Tap on My Songs in the top left-hand corner to return to the main GarageBand menu. Then hit the plus button, also in the top left-hand corner. Then press Create New Song. In the new window that appears, we can see Live Loops, which we just explored. Now we're going to press on Tracks. Here we're now going to be asked to build our song instrument by instrument, and a great place to start is with our beats. So let's start with Smart Drums. So with Smart Drums you'll see we have all the parts of a drum kit on the right hand side. Now it's just a simple case of dragging these parts into the grid in the centre of the screen. If we drag these parts towards the top, they will be louder, towards the bottom they will be quieter. On the left hand side the beat will be simple, and on the right hand side the beat will be more complex. When you're happy with your composition, to record your drums we just need to hit the red button in the control bar. The metronome will count you in, and then it's just a case of waiting. When you're happy that you've recorded enough, just hit the stop button. To get a random composition of drums, just hit the dice in the bottom left hand corner. When you're ready, you can hit the play button in the control bar to play what you have recorded. When you're happy with your recording, hit the track view button to switch from the current Smart Drum window to the track view window. From here, you'll be able to play back and edit your whole project. But first, we need to add some more instruments. So let's add a smart bass. The default screen for smart bass will look like this, where you can play individual notes just like on a bass guitar. But don't worry if you don't know how to play a bass guitar, you can use the autoplay settings found in the top right hand corner. With autoplay on, all you need to do is hit a chord strip. Each chord strip will play a bass line with notes from that chord. You can increase the autoplay setting to increase the complexity of the bass line. You will notice that there are autoplay settings on all of the smart instruments in GarageBand. When you're happy with your autoplay settings, you can practice with the music that you've already recorded by hitting play. When you're done rehearsing, it's time to record. Hit the record button in the control bar and play along. When you're done, you can hit the stop button, and now we can take a look at both recordings in the track view. From here, we can see both of our recordings and play it back to make sure that we're happy. You can carry on building your track with smart instruments, but next we're going to add a manual keyboard for users with a bit more musical experience. This is a much more traditional setup for those who are more accustomed with playing the piano. However, GarageBand works in exactly the same way as before. You can rehearse, and when you're ready, just hit the record button and play along. When you're done recording, remember to take a look at track view, where you can see all of your recordings together. Here we can see that our piano is in a different position to the other instruments we recorded. To change this, all we need to do is tap and hold and drag left or right. So far, we've just been recording our instruments directly into our timeline, but GarageBand also has many audio loops that we can use. To access these, all we need to do is click on the loop browser button. In this window, you will see all the loops that you have at your disposal. You can refine this list by searching via instrument, genre or descriptor. At the moment, we can see that my search is returning guitars that are playing rock and blues and would be described as grooving. I'm going to change my descriptor to electric and update my results. Now I can preview these loops and select the one that I'm happy with. All I need to do is drag it into my timeline, and I can play it back to see what it sounds like. In tracks, there are many other options, just like in live loops, like the remix effects panel. Feel free to experiment around with these. You'll be pleased to know that GarageBand automatically saves your project, but when it comes to getting your music off the iPad, there are a few steps that we need to take. First of all, we need to go back to the main menu by hitting My Songs in the top left-hand corner. From here, we can see all of the projects on the iPad. Now press Select in the top right-hand corner. This will make all of our projects wobble. We are now able to select one and choose the Share option in the top left-hand corner. There are lots of options for sharing your work from GarageBand. We're going to choose iTunes. From here we have two options. 1 to share a song, 2 to share a project. If your song is completed, choose Song. If you plan to continue your work on another machine, choose Project. We're going to share a song. Here we can edit the song's information, and for most of the time you're fine to export the song in high quality. Now let's pick the song up in iTunes. So let's plug our iPad in. Using a standard cable, plug one end into the iPad and the other into your laptop or PC. So if we can open iTunes on your PC or Mac and navigate to the iPad in question, we can go to the Apps section and scroll down on this page until we see the File Sharing section. In here you'll be able to see all the apps that have the ability to share to iTunes. We need to go to GarageBand, and in there we can see our song that we've shared. Scroll down again and go to the Save To option. Here you can save this file locally to your machine wherever you like. If we hide iTunes now, we'll be able to see there is our song that we've just saved on my desktop. Let's just listen to a preview of it. And that file is now yours to use or share as you see fit.